7.3682. This 3 is in what place? Yes, the 10th place. I know somebody wanted to say that, but just don't want to. 6 is in the hundredths place, and the 8 is in the thousandths place, and the 2 is in the 10,000ths place. And probably the place that rounding decimals comes into the most useful is with money. With money. With cash, cold hard cash. Sometimes when you do figuring on tax and all this sort of stuff, you'll get a number that looks like this, 3.624. Okay. Now, if you look at that, something should look strange to you in that what? In money, the smallest we split our money into is pennies. And a penny is what part of a dollar, Brianna? It's a hundredth. And that's why we only go to the hundredths place, okay, with money. So when you come up with an answer like this, you're not allowed to leave it like that because we don't have a thousandths place when we talk about money. So you have to round this. Rounding to the nearest cent is the same thing as rounding to the nearest hundredth, because that's what a cent is, it's a hundredth. Okay? So the deal with decimals is when you round, you have to be very careful. If you're rounding to the nearest hundredth, your answer cannot go any farther than the hundredths place. And then I'll give you an example. If I said to round 675 to the nearest tens place, tens, what would that be? 675 rounded to the nearest tens place is, Keith?
680.
680. And you change this to a 0 and put it on there. Well, if I'm rounding money, I don't leave that 0 on the end that this would change to. 3.624, if I'm rounding it to the nearest hundred, that's this place right here. This number next to it tells me if that's going to become a 3 or stay a 2. Okay, because this is 1/10 of that place there. So if it's 5, I'm going to add them. My choices when I round this is either going to be $3.62 or $3.63 based on what this number here is. Because this is a 4, okay, it's going to stay $3.62. But I don't, unlike over here where I kept that 0 at the end even though that changed to a 0, when you round decimals, you never leave that 0 or whatever 0 is on the end of that. You just write it like money would be $3.62. And the reason for that is if you have 3.620, we say this number a whole lot differently than I say this number. This is 3 and 62 hundredths. This is 3 and 620 thousandths. I'm rounding to the hundredths place, so I'm only going to leave the hundredths place in my answer. That's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's look at a few things here. Write this example down. Let's say I've got 75.6348. And I am, let's do this first. Let's first of all round to, let's do first the nearest whole number. Okay, I don't know if we've talked about whole numbers. Whole numbers are numbers that don't have fractions or decimals in them. So if I'm rounding this number to the nearest whole number, my choice is either 75 or 76. Okay, and if you think about this on a number line, you know, it's between 75 and 76. Right here, dead center would be what decimal? This would be 75 point what? This would be 75.5. So you look at this, and you look at that number that's next to the decimal, it's a 0.6. That means it's actually going to be over here just a little bit. So what number is it actually going to be closer to, Emily?
76.
76. And notice I don't put a decimal, I don't do this, I don't put 0.000 and leave all those zeros there. If I'm rounding to the whole number, my answer needs to be a whole number. Okay, let's take that same number and round it to the nearest tenths. the nearest tenth. If I look at that number there, 75.6348, and I ask you to round it to the nearest tenth, which is that 6, my choice is either going to be 75.6 or 75.7. And what is my answer going to be there? Riley says,
75.6.
right, it's this number, when you're rounding this one, you look at the next number, and if that's not 5 or above, that stays the same. So to the nearest tenth, that is 75.6. And again, stressing this, because I have people get this wrong all the time, you don't put any of those zeros down there. You just leave it. If you're rounding to the tenths, your answer's in tenths. Round it to the nearest hundredth. To the nearest hundredth. Looking at what's in the hundredths place, which is this 3, your two choices will be 75.63 or 75.64. Which one are you thinking it would be? Laney Kabarik?
75.6.
Correct. It's going to be 75.63. You look at the number next to that, it's a 4, it's not 5 or above, so it doesn't change. I don't add those zeros. And then last but not least, let's do the nearest thousandth. To the nearest thousandth. So here's my thousandth place. My choice is either going to be 75.634 or 75.635. And the survey says, Jaden, shoot.
75.635.
Correct, 75.635. What do you think? Can we handle such a thing? Let me see if there's something here. Hold on a second. Yeah. Let's write down this example because I still have 7th and 8th graders ask about this. And if we can clear this up with you now, it'll save me a lot of questions. If the sales tax is 6%, sales tax is 6%. You buy something that is $3.79. $3.79. How much is the tax on that? How much tax will you pay? If you remember, I told you anytime it comes to tax and tip, what are you going to do? What mathematical operation? Isabel? You will multiply because it is 6% of that. But before I multiply 6% times 379, what do I need to do? I need to change the percent, the 6 out of 100 to, Keith, which is?
0.06.
Correct. So I'm going to take 3.79, $3.79, and I'm going to multiply by 0.06. It's not 0.6 because 0.6 is actually 60%. You don't want to pay that tax. So now when you do the math here, kids, 6 times 9 is 54. Carry the 5. 42 plus 5 is 47. 18 plus 4 is 22. Take a look here. 4 decimal places means I move this 4 places. My answer is 0.2274, but that's money, children. Okay? I don't have that in money. We don't make the thousands or the 10,000s place. So your choice is this. It's either going to be 22 cents or 23 cents in tax. Okay, and which one do you suppose it's going to be in tax, Drew Norquist?
23 cents.
23 cents because this number in the thousands place was the 7. So yeah, you're going to pay 23 cents in tax. And stores do that all the time because believe it or not, our tax rate in Yorkville, sales tax, is this. This is actually the decimal that you have to multiply by. Our tax rate is 8 3/4%. So when you go to Yorkville at the store and buy anything, the people in the store, the cash register, the people don't because they're not smart enough anymore, they multiply whatever price it is times 0.0875 and you will get a long decimal answer, and they will round that answer to the nearest cent, because it rarely does it ever work out. It'd work out if you paid $1,000, right? If you paid $1,000, then how much would you pay in tax? Just move the decimal 3 places. You pay $87.50 in tax on $1,000. So if you bought a car for $40,000, you would pay 4 times this. Wait, 40 times this. 4 times that, 40 times this. This is $1,000, right?
Yeah.
So if you bought a car for $40,000, you would pay 40 times this in tax. Here is your. Oh, look, it works out. 28, 2, 4, 32, 34. How many decimals? 2. You have to pay on a $40,000 car. You have to pay $3,400 just in tax. That's where it goes. Emily.
Franklin, like if you say you got the 23.
Well, here's the number I had. And Emily, in money, we only go 2 decimal places because that's the hundredths place. So it's 0.22 or 0.23. What tells you is the next number after it. If that's 5 or above, it doesn't matter what comes after it other than that number there. 5 or above means it's going to go up to the next cent. If this would have been a 4, we would have gone here. 5, 6, 7, all goes over there. Perfect. I thought that was just completely exciting. And also, you know, if you have a number like this, 145.236, if you're supposed to round that to the nearest 100, what would this number be rounded to the nearest 100? Elijah? 100. And again, you don't, no decimals after it, it's just straight up 100. Okay, don't add zeros after decimals, or usually that's your friend. Perfect. For tomorrow then.